Well, good morning, Legacy Flag Football. In this podcast, we're going to be talking about week to week in the Legacy Flag Football League that we got here. We got 6 teams in this fall of 2024, so we're going to be going over standings, statistics, everything of that nature. Like I said, we're going to be going over the first 2 weeks here. Kind of skipped a week, but we're going to be going over wins, losses, point differential, everything of that nature, and even giving you predictions for this week 3. To start out, we got Chiefs, Texans, Patriots, Chargers, Oilers, and Ravens are the 6 teams in this league. They all are picked on the draft basis. All the captains get together before the season, do a draft of all the players that are available that are selected by each of those 6 teams. So, to get us started, kind of recapping week 1. So, the first game in our 2:30 slot, we had the Chiefs and the Chargers coming out today. Flag football can change week to week, especially in this league. So you just got to be ready for everything. So the result of that game, Chargers won 65-36, bringing the Chargers their first one of the season and dropping their Chiefs the first loss of the season. Going up against Carell Knox's Chiefs. The Chiefs have a lot of new players that are still trying to learn the game. So, you got to get those struggles out early. But I do think the Chiefs are going to be a great team once we get towards the end of the season. As well as they're going to be really dangerous with their speed and athleticism when it comes to the playoffs. The Chargers, all around, Josh Nelson drafts kind of pretty perfectly every year. They have a really well-rounded team, and they're just putting up points on everybody. That's the first game out of the books, or into the books. You got the 3:30 game. You got the Texans and the Oilers. Kind of a well-rounded team as well. I'm a little biased since I am on the Texans, but we also have a decent amount of new players on the team. But Texans this week scoring the most amount of points of 74, but also allowing the Oilers to score 58, even though they got the win. Still had a lot of points allowed. The Oilers could be a sneaky team as well. Just got to put more points up on the board, and defense is important as we get to the next couple weeks. But then going into that 4:30 slot, which is I had marked as the game of the week. You had the Patriots and the Ravens. Again, 2 really good teams. I think they're going to be amazing. I mean, Riley Haynes on the Ravens is always agile, he's just hard to get, I'm not going to lie. I mean, he's a great quarterback. They got Patriots and Kev's team. I mean, Kev is 6 foot, 7 foot 12. It's so hard to guard the man, as well as he always drafts so well. So I'll be interested to see. However, Ravens get the win in week 1, 48-38. A little bit, I wouldn't say a surprise, but it is a game of the week for me. And I did expect that close margin. I mean, rounding out week 1, my rankings personally, so I'll go based off record. And then if their record is tied, I will get points for. So the amount of points that team has scored that week. Kind of rankings going into week 1, you had the Texans, Chargers, and Ravens all bringing up first, second, and third place, getting the win in week 1. With the Texans getting 74, Chargers 65, Ravens 48 points. And then you had the Patriots, Oilers, and Chiefs all dropping down into that 4, 5, 6, which looking at it, I actually have a mistake already on my sheet notes. But yes, I mean, week 1, everybody's testing to see and feel what they have and kind of just getting, like I said, getting a feel. These first couple weeks, I have fallen many times. This is my first time actually winning the first week. I actually start out, I think the past couple times I've started out 0-2, 0-3. So this is a nice change of pace for me as well. But I won't spend too much time on week 1 anymore. I will go over, however, the top offenses and top defenses as well, as they change every week. So we're going to go over top offenses. Obviously, the Texans scoring those 74 points. They have the first place offense, followed by the Chargers, Oilers. And then you have 4th, 5, 6. You got Ravens, Patriots, and Chiefs. And then defenses. Number 1 defense in week 1, you had the Chargers, followed by the Ravens, Patriots, and then Texans, Chiefs, and Oilers. So a lot of mismatching in there. Really, I feel like the only consistent team from week 1 was the Chargers, the well-rounded team. Having that second place offense and first place defense. But kind of flip side, the Chiefs having that last place offense and 5th place defense. Like I said, they have a ton of new players, but they also have a lot of talent and a lot of speed, speaking from experience playing them in week 2. So I think they're going to be really good. They just got to figure it out. So we're going to roll straight into week 2. Kind of the results of this past Sunday. So Our 2:30 slot I had as the game of the week. I had the Ravens home against the Chargers. Chargers ended up getting the win 60-36. Like I said, Chargers a well-rounded team, very good. The Ravens just had some miscues. I know not able to get in the end zone sometimes when they went down there. But overall, like I said, it was a great game. I don't think the score reflected how it was actually played. Also, a lot of turnovers. But again, week 2, everybody's still figuring it out. But Chargers advancing to 2-0, dropping to 1-1. Then you go into that 3:30 slot. You had the Texans hosting the Chiefs. Texans coming out with the win of 40-26. It was a very low-scoring game, kind of what I did not expect. I kind of expected the Chiefs. I mean, obviously with the Texans getting the most amount of points in week 1, not being able to be, I think, stopped about 3-4 times in week 1. The offense was, I wouldn't say limited, but both teams had kind of long, methodical drives that either ended with points or didn't. I know Chiefs a couple times got stopped into the red zone, as well as the Texans. I know turnovers were an issue for the Chiefs as well. The Texans, I believe, getting 4 turnovers. I know the Chiefs had some got some turnovers as well. So not really a clean game from either team. But Texas advancing to 2-0. Chiefs falling to 0-2. As I said, I think the Chiefs will be a really good team. They just gotta figure it out. And in that 4:30 slot, you had the Oilers hosting the Patriots, and it's based on the scoreboard, folks. It wasn't close. Patriots taking it away, 82-28. So the Patriots with the highest score of week 2 of 82 points, just vaulting their offense. However, the Oilers dropping 30 less points than they did in week 1. I'm not sure the struggles that they had. I wasn't able to stay for the game, sadly. That's a high point differential. But as I said, Kev really drafts well in his teams. I'm always terrified to face his teams, and it's not just because I'm 5'8" on a good day. But overall, his team is just really good. So they're definitely a team to watch for us, as well as the Chargers. I think those are both kind of championship favorites, as well as I wouldn't sleep on the Chiefs. I know I keep mentioning them a lot. They have a lot of talent. They just got to get there. But kind of recapping from week 2. And those scores, a little shifting in the standings. Well, first place, you have the Chargers getting that 2-0 record with 125 points scored. Then you got the Texans dropping down to the second rank with 114 points scored. And then Patriots and Ravens tied at 1-1, but Patriots taking that third place spot with 120 points. Fourth place with 84. And then you had the Oilers and Chiefs both at 0-2, looking for that first win this next week. Both with 86 and 62 points respectively, as well as a lot of shifting when we coming into the top offenses and top defenses. So Chargers, Patriots, and Texans are all being pretty consistent for now. Chargers holding the top spot in both offense and defense. The Patriots holding the second spot in both offense and defense, and the Texans holding the third spot in both offense and defense. So top 3 teams pretty consistent so far through the first 2 weeks. When you get to 4, 5, 6, it shifts a little. So 4th, you have the Oilers in total offense. 5th is Ravens, and then 6th, you got the Chiefs still. Then you flip over to defense, and you got the Ravens with the 4th ranked defense, Chiefs with the 5th ranked, and then Oilers bringing up that last place spot just with that 82 points scored. It didn't help their cause at all. So a lot of shifting. I think it'll continue to shift until about week 4, and then it'll stabilize a little bit. But yeah, I mean, like I said, first 2 weeks, every team is just trying to figure out what they got. You know, some teams might start off really hot and then drop. As I said in my years past, I think I've started off 0-3, 0-2 every single time, and have come out winning 3-4 games and at least one playoff wins. Anything can happen. I mean, it's such a high-scoring game that even if you get 4 stops, you got a pretty good shot to win the games. Looking ahead to week 3, I do have score predictions for each one based off math, not my own score predictions personally. Like I said, I haven't had the opportunity to watch each team, but just based on how many points for and points against that each team has had, we do have some predictions this week. So Starting off, I'm going to start actually with what I consider the game of the week, just because it has the smallest point differential. We had the Ravens and the Texans in that 2:30 slot. So Ravens hosting the Texans for the Texans' first away game this year. Ravens coming off 1-1 off of that loss to the Chargers. Texans coming off that 2-game win streak against the Oilers and the Chiefs. So right now, the math says the Texans are favored by 11 points. So let me tell you how I got that, though. So I take, just so I know it's not biased at all, I take the current team's points for, the team that they're playing, take their points against, and take that average. Then when you have that average, you have that team's score prediction for the game. Score prediction for the first game, you got Texans 53, Ravens 42. There's where you get that 11-point difference. I mean, math says Texans will win. I do think it'll be a highly contested game. The Ravens have, like I said, a lot of talent as well, a lot of speed, as well as Riley with that quarterback and safety play. Is a smart football player. So moving on to that 3:30 game with the Patriots hosting the Chiefs. Patriots favored by 22 points. Patriots coming off that 82-point victory versus the Oilers, 82-28 last week. Sorry. I think that I don't know if it'll be that much of a margin. As I said, the Chiefs, I think they'll figure things out a little bit more and kind of get their offense going. But they need to get off to an early start. Once the Patriots run away with it, they kind of run away. 3:30 game, Patriots hosting the Chiefs. Patriots favored by 22 points. And then you got the 4:30 slate to end the week. Chargers hosting the Oilers. Hopefully the Oilers can bounce back from that 28-point offensive performance and get a little bit more points on the board. But the Chargers favored by 31. Score prediction being 71-40. And then going back to that 3:30 game, score prediction being 57-35. A lot of teams. Again, I know we're still early. Technically, we're halfway through the season with the week. But like I said, flag football, anybody can win. It's an any given Sunday kind of situations. There's your score predictions for the week. Moving into kind of individual schedules for each team. So again, a lot of these are too close to call. There isn't really much shifting when you go for, I guess, like a strength of schedule. Each team will play one team twice, so that each team will play every team, and then you'll play one team twice. It's kind of look at the draw who you get, but just kind of going through all 6 teams, kind of alphabetically, seeing what their schedule is, seeing what I think will happen with them. And going from there. But starting out with the Chargers, obviously I said they have the first-ranked offense, first-ranked defense through 2 weeks. 125 points scored and only 72 points against, starting off with that hot 2-0 over the Chiefs and Ravens. They do have the Oilers this week, who are sitting at 0-2 and are 31-point favorites to win this game. Kind of moving past those first 3 weeks, the Chargers will face the Chiefs again in week 4, followed up with the Patriots and the Texans. So the schedule does get harder as the week goes on based off schedule. As I said, I do think the Chargers are one of the ones to be a favorite to win the championship. I'm not saying that based off schedule. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying Josh Nelson's teams usually perform very well. In my limited experience in my 2-3 seasons with fantasy flag football as well. Fantasy flag football. You know what I meant. Legacy flag football, thank you. But have drafted very well, as well as performed just phenomenally. So I do see the Chargers. I could see them being 5-6 game winners through this and getting the 1-2 seed. I don't see them really wavering from that. Obviously, I'm trying not to put any bias in this situation. As I said, I play for the Texans, but I really like to give. I'm a realistic person. I'm not an optimistic person. I'm not a pessimistic. I'm a realistic. So moving on to the Chiefs. Not a hot start, as I said. You got a lot of new players just trying to figure the system out. Starting off 0-2 against the Chargers and Texans, with the 6th-ranked offense and 5th-ranked defense with 62 points for and 105 points against. However, with the silver lining, they did play 2-0 teams to start the season out, as well as they got that top-ranked Patriots offense as well, or highly ranked Patriots offense as well to start. So they do kind of have a rough showing, having the Patriots this week and 22-point underdogs. And then week 4 following up again with the Chargers. And then moving on to the Ravens and Oilers. I think this is a team that you could almost say could go 3-3 or 2-4, but make some noise when it comes to playoff time. I don't know if they'll beat the Patriots this week or the Chargers the week after. So they could potentially start 0-4, but win those last two games and kind of just roll through the playoffs. Maybe they'll have it figured out by then. But I wouldn't count them out this week. Obviously, I know the Patriots are a really good team, but maybe they figured it out through the past couple weeks. But moving it on to the Oilers. Oilers, again, starting out 0-2. Not the best two showings. They did score a lot of points against the Texans week 1 with 58. However, dropping that 28 points against the Patriots last week and having basically a 50-point differential in the game. Not a good week, not a strong week 2. Coming in with the 4th-ranked offense and 6th-ranked defense with 86 points for and 156 points against. They are heavy underdogs to the Chargers this week with 31 points. I don't know if they'll get the win this week against the Chargers. I think it'll be a little bit better. I don't think that 31-point differential is necessarily accurate. However, they have the Ravens in week 4. I think that'll be a good matchup for them, as well as the Texans, and then the Chiefs in week 5 and week 6, respectively. I think they'll be able to figure it out once we get into the later weeks, get a couple wins under their belt. I wouldn't count them out yet, but I also would say they're kind of a middle-of-the-road kind of team as of right now, according to the statistics. However, I will say Mark, as a captain on the team, he is a veteran when it comes to these things. A lot of the captains are veterans and know what they're doing and have won in the past. So I think he's just got to gel that team together, get a couple wins, and we'll head to the playoff time. Running into the Patriots next. Patriots with a close game against the Ravens, losing 38-48 in week 1. Bounced back incredibly against the Oilers, winning in week 2, 82-28. So they're coming into week 3 against the Chiefs with a 1-1 record with the 2nd-ranked offense and 2nd-ranked defense, with 120 points for and 76 points against, respectively. I mean, they're favored by 22 against the Chiefs this week. Again, I don't know if the differential will be that good. The Chiefs do, as I said, have some sneaky speed, but the Patriots just a really well-rounded team. I mean, obviously, last week is as complete as you can get on a flag football games. Their week 4 is playing against the Texans, Chargers, and Ravens. So I also think these are some championship favorite teams right here. This is a championship favorite team as well with the Chargers. I think they're the 2 front runners as of right now. They're just playing good. I don't know what else to say about it. So I think they could win out or even go 4-2, 5-1 on the season and get that bye week hitting into the playoffs. A little bit rest for them and just see what happens. So I could see them being the 1st, 2nd seed. They do, as I said, they will host the Texans and then be away for the Chargers and Ravens in weeks 4 through 6. So not an easy slate whatsoever. However, I think they have the talent for it, so we can see what happens. Then we're moving on to the Ravens. Ravens with a strong showing against the Patriots in week 1, getting that W 48-38. However, losing to the Chargers 36-60. Just some miscues that I saw in those games, as well, like I said, getting down into a 3rd and long situation or not being able to score into the red zone. So just need some communication from them. But I think they'll have it together once we get to the latter half of the season. I mean, coming in as 1-1, kind of a 11-point underdog to the Texans this week. However, I think it'll be a very back and forth game. I think the Ravens are a great team, and they're going to be tough, the tough opponent when it comes to the next few weeks. They started off with a heavy schedule. However, in week 4, 5, 6, they'll play the Oilers, Chiefs, and Patriots, who are 0-2, 0-2, and 1-1 respectively. So if we're going based off record, I think the Ravens can be a 3-3, 4-2 kind of team. And I've been saying this to a lot of teams, but I think once we come playoff time, all these teams are going to have it figured out, and they're going to be really tight games. But the Ravens, I think, are going to be that sneaky good, like that sneaky kind of good team to potentially make a championship run. I think it just depends how much they gel in the next few weeks and see what happens, and try not to get too disheartened or anything like that. Or they just need to be middle level. They can't be too high on praise. Can't get too disheartened from a loss. And like I said, too high on praise if they win. They just got to kind of take it game by game. in their schedule, and I think they'll do really well in their latter half. And then moving on to the Texans, last but not least, coming in to week 3 with a 2-0 record, with the 3rd-ranked offense and 3rd-ranked defense with 114 points. Sorry for the voice crack. 14 points for and 84 points against. Their first showing as a team, scoring the most amount of points in week 1 with 74. However, gave up a ton of points to the Oilers with 58. So just a complete shootout in game 1. Then kind of bouncing back in week 2, beating the Chiefs 40-26. It was a close game the entire game. Really only pulled ahead at the end. But again, turnovers kind of aided them, as well as they come into week 3 11-point favorites to the Ravens. But their season is kind of up and down when you get to weeks 4, 5, and 6, playing the Patriots, the Oilers, and the Chargers. It's again, I think with the Patriots and Chargers still left on their schedule, could be a 4-2, 3-3 kind of team. I do think once they get to the playoffs, it could again make some noise per usual per half the teams that I've said that for. It'll just depend. Can they stop them on defense? I know they have the middle of the road for both offense and defense, but I think this Ravens game with them will show us a lot, and that's why I have it as the game of the week. And then going on to the Patriots, and it doesn't get easier for them. So each week could be a test, but obviously only through 2 weeks of the season, there's been a lot of ups and downs for a bunch of these teams that we'll watch pretty closely. I am planning on having a couple guys step on each week if they're able, maybe one from each team when it comes time. But kind of just to give an overview again of your current standings. After week 2, you got the Chargers in first place, Texans in second place, Patriots in third, Ravens in fourth, and then you got the Oilers and Chiefs rocking 5th and 6th. So a lot of potential for some teams. A lot of the games that can go either way, in my opinion. But for week 3, as I said, Texans mathematically favored by 11 points going into Baltimore for the Ravens. And then the Patriots and Chargers both favored at home by 22 and 31 points respectively. So I think this week 3 will tell us a lot and kind of stabilize things in the league when it comes to which teams are going to be front runners. As of right now, as I said, I think it's the Chargers and Patriots. They both draft really well. They're both veterans. They both are very solid teams. A couple teams could make their way up depending on how they do in week 3. So I think this third week will tell us a lot on how this season's going to go. But I like to keep this short, under 30 minutes, just trying to give an update for everything like that. Give my own little predictions for how I think teams will do. And I don't know, it's going to be an exciting week. As I said, game of the week is that 2:30 slot with the Ravens hosting the Texans. But don't sleep on any of the other games. Hope everybody has a good week, and we will see you on Sunday for week 3.